The massive screen in Earth's Defense Command Center blinked red. At first it was just a small dot, appearing at the edge of Pluto's orbit. Within minutes, more dots appeared, spreading across the screen like a swarm of angry bees. Admiral James Walker stood with his hands behind his back, his gray uniform neat and pressed despite being awake for the last 20 hours. His weathered face showed no fear, only deep concentration as he watched the dots multiply. "How many ships are we looking at?" he asked, his voice steady. The young officer at the main console swallowed hard before answering. "Over 3,000 vessels, sir, and more keep appearing." The room fell silent. Humanity had prepared for this day for over a century. After fighting among themselves for countless years, they had turned their focus to the stars, building defenses that would make Earth an impossible target. "Send the alert. Get the Council here now," Walker ordered. Within 30 minutes, the United Earth Defense Council chamber was filled. 12 representatives from Earth's major regions sat around a circular table, their faces lit by the holographic display in the center showing the approaching fleet. Director Anna Stone, the Council chairperson, spoke first. "Admiral Walker, what are we looking at?" Walker stepped forward, activating a second hologram. 3 weeks ago, we detected similar fleet movements near the Proxima Centauri system. 2 days later, the system went dark. He paused, letting the information sink in. "We've tracked 17 similar patterns in nearby systems over the past year. Each time, the same result. An invasion force," someone whispered. "Correct," Walker nodded. "But they don't know what they're flying into. Earth isn't like other worlds." He pressed a button, and the hologram changed to show Earth's defense network. A complex web of satellites, stations, and platforms surrounded the planet. Hidden weapon systems that had taken decades to build. Technology born from thousands of years of human conflict. The room's tension was broken by a sudden beep. All eyes turned to the main screen as a message appeared. "To inhabitants of SOL3, Earth. From Galactic Empire Command. City. Immediate surrender required. Your SOISTM has been chosen for integration into the Galactic Empire. Subiamite innovo and be suomi part of the greatest civilization in the universe. Resistance will result in immediate planetary sanctions. You have one Earth at your to respond. Glory to the Empire." Director Stone looked around the room, meeting each council member's eyes. "Well, what's our response?" Admiral Walker stepped forward again. "Our defense grid is at 100% capacity. The quantum shields are ready. Our response fleets are in position." He allowed himself a small smile. "We've spent generations preparing for this moment. While they were busy conquering peaceful worlds, we were building walls they couldn't imagine." The council members nodded one by one. They had all seen the simulations, the test results. Earth's defenses were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. "Send our response," Director Stone commanded. Walker typed the message himself. "To Galactic Empire Command. From Earth Defense Command. HCCESSD and IG. Turan Baski and immediate Eli. This is your own AR. NDMESSA." As the message was sent, Walker activated Earth's defense grid. Across the planet, hidden systems came to life. Quantum shields shimmered briefly as they powered up. Defensive platforms emerged from their camouflaged positions in Earth's orbit. "Now we wait," Walker said, watching the red dots grow closer on the main screen. "Let them come. Let them learn why Earth was never meant to be conquered." In the depths of space, the Empire's fleet approached, unaware they were about to face something entirely new. They had conquered thousands of peaceful worlds, but they had never encountered a civilization that had mastered the art of defense through millennia of conflict. Earth was ready. The Empire was not. Imperial Commander Marcus stood on the bridge of his flagship, staring at Earth's response message with disbelief. In his 30 years of conquering worlds for the Empire, no one had ever dared to refuse so bluntly. They dare to deny us. He growled, his fingers tightening on the command chair. Launch the first wave. Standard invasion protocol. 500 warships broke away from the main fleet, their engines glowing bright against the darkness of space. They formed the arrow-shaped pattern that had brought down the defenses of countless worlds before. Back on Earth, Admiral Walker watched the approaching ships with calm interest. They're using their standard formation, he noted, just like our projections suggested. He turned to Captain Hayes at the weapons console. Let them get closer. Wait for my signal. The Empire's ships crossed Neptune's orbit. Then Uranus, their weapons charging. They expected to find a primitive planetary defense system, something they could overwhelm with their superior numbers. They were wrong. As the fleet reached Jupiter's orbit, Walker pressed a button on his command console. Activate Defense Pattern Alpha. Show them what Earth can do. Across the solar system, hidden platforms came to life. Thousands of small satellites, previously invisible to Imperial scans, powered up their shields. A web of energy began to form between them, creating a complex network of defensive lines. Commander Marcus frowned at his displays. What are these readings? Our sensors must be malfunctioning. Before he could give new orders, the first line of Earth's defense activated. A wave of quantum energy swept through space, disrupting the Empire's targeting systems. Their advanced weapons, designed to overwhelm standard shields, suddenly couldn't lock onto any targets. Impossible, Marcus shouted. Our systems are the most advanced in the galaxy. Walker's voice came over all Imperial communications channels, calm and clear. This is your final warning. Retreat now. Marcus responded by ordering his ships to fire anyway. Hundreds of energy beams shot toward Earth's defenses. They hit the quantum shields and simply disappeared, absorbed into the energy web. Now, Walker commanded, show them why Earth is different. Earth's defensive platforms opened fire, but instead of normal weapons, they released waves of focused quantum pulses. These pulses didn't try to destroy the Imperial ships. They simply shut them down. Engines failed. Weapon systems went dark. Shield generators stopped working. In the first 15 minutes, 100 Imperial ships lost all power, drifting helplessly in space. What is this technology? Marcus demanded, watching his fleet fall apart. No primitive world should have these capabilities. Walker's voice came through again. We are not primitive, Commander. We are humanity. We spent thousands of years fighting ourselves, perfecting our defenses. Did you think we wouldn't be ready for threats from space? Another wave of quantum pulses swept through the Imperial fleet. This time, 200 more ships went dark. The remaining vessels tried to retreat, but Earth's defense grid had already closed behind them, trapping them in a web of energy. Director Stone spoke up from the council chamber. They need to understand. Admiral, show them our real capabilities. Walker nodded and activated Earth's main defense system. A massive energy field appeared around the planet, shimmering like a second atmosphere. Hundreds of hidden weapon platforms emerged from their hiding spots around Earth's orbit. By all means, Commander Marcus, Walker transmitted. Continue your attack. Show us what the mighty Empire can do against a civilization that actually knows how to defend itself. Marcus stared at his screens in shock. His mighty fleet, which had conquered countless worlds, was now trapped and powerless. Nearly half his ships were dead in space, their crews waiting for rescue. Full retreat, he finally ordered, his voice shaking. All ships, fall back to safe distance. The surviving Imperial ships turned around, their engines straining as they fled from Earth's defenses. They left behind their disabled companions, floating helplessly in space. Walker watched them go, then turned to his crew. Rescue teams, bring in their disabled ships, show them how Earth treats prisoners, and send a message to the main Imperial fleet. The message was simple. Lesson 1 complete. Would you like to try again? 3 days after the failed invasion, a single Imperial ship approached Earth's defense grid. Unlike the warships, this vessel was smaller, gleaming white against the blackness of space. It carried no weapons. Imperial diplomatic vessel requesting permission to dock, the communication officer announced. Admiral Walker studied the ship on his screen. Scan it completely. I don't want any surprises. After thorough scans confirmed the ship was indeed unarmed, Walker granted permission. The vessel was guided to Earth's main orbital station, surrounded by 4 defense platforms the entire time. Imperial diplomat Thomas stepped out of his ship, his expression carefully neutral. He was tall and wore the Empire's traditional white diplomatic robes. 2 Earth guards escorted him to the station's meeting room, where the Defense Council waited. "Welcome to Earth," Director Stone said, her voice firm but polite. "I trust your journey was comfortable." Thomas looked around the room, noting the advanced technology that seemed to be everywhere. This was not what he had expected from a world that hadn't joined the Empire yet. "I must admit," he began, "this is unusual for us. The Empire has conquered over 10,000 worlds. None have ever repelled our first wave so easily." Walker, standing by the wall, smiled slightly. "Perhaps you've been conquering the wrong kinds of worlds." Thomas pulled out a small device and placed it on the table. It projected a hologram of the galaxy, with the Empire's territory marked in red. It covered nearly a quarter of the galaxy. "All these worlds are part of our Empire," Thomas explained. "All of them submitted, eventually. Some fought, yes, but none had defenses like yours. How is this possible?" Director Stone exchanged looks with the council members before answering. "Tell us, Diplomat Thomas, how did these worlds develop before you conquered them?" "Most evolved peacefully," Thomas replied. "They developed space travel, explored their systems, and eventually met other species. The Empire brought them order and protection." Walker stepped forward. "And that's where we're different. Humanity didn't evolve peacefully. We fought wars, countless wars. For thousands of years, we fought ourselves. And in fighting, we learned something your Empire never understood." He pressed a button, and the room's walls became transparent, showing Earth's defense grid stretching out into space. "We learned that the best defense isn't a bigger weapon," Walker continued. "It's an impossible defense. Every weapon we created, we had to build a defense against. Every strategy we developed, we had to find a way to counter it." Thomas stared at the complex web of defenses surrounding Earth. "But why? Why focus so much on defense?" "Because," Director Stone explained, "we always assumed that if we reached the stars, we'd meet someone who wanted to conquer us, like your Empire, so we made sure that would be impossible." Thomas sat quietly for a moment, processing this information. "The Empire will not accept this. They will send more ships, bigger ships, our most powerful weapons." Walker laughed softly. "Let me show you something." He activated another hologram, showing the disabled Imperial ships from the first wave. Earth rescue teams were helping the crew, providing medical care and supplies. "We could have destroyed those ships," Walker said. "Instead, we simply turned them off. That wasn't even our strongest defense system. That was just a warning." Thomas's eyes widened. "A warning?" "Yes," Director Stone confirmed. "Here's our message to the Empire. The Sol system is now forbidden territory. Any Imperial ships entering this system will be disabled and captured. Their crews will be treated well, but their ships will be added to our defenses." "This is unprecedented," Thomas protested. "The Empire cannot allow a single system to deny them access." "The Empire," Walker stated firmly, "doesn't have a choice. You built an empire based on superior weapons. We built a fortress that makes weapons useless." Thomas stood slowly, understanding the situation's gravity. I will take your message to the Emperor, but I must warn you, they will test your defenses again." Director Stone smiled. "We look forward to it. After all, we've spent centuries preparing for exactly this moment." As Thomas walked back to his ship, he couldn't help but wonder if the Empire had finally met its match. Not in a stronger enemy, but in a civilization that had mastered the art of saying no. The Emperor's response to Earth's defiance came 1 week later. It arrived in the form of 5,000 warships, including the Empire's most powerful vessel, the Planet Breaker. Admiral Walker stood at his command post, watching the massive fleet approach. The Planet Breaker lived up to its name. It was huge, nearly the size of Earth's moon, its surface covered in weapon ports. "They brought their biggest gun," Walker said calmly, "just as we expected." Director Stone's voice came through the command center speakers. "All civilian shelters report ready. Defense grid at maximum power. Admiral, you may proceed with the defense plan." The Imperial fleet moved into attack formation. Unlike the first wave, they spread out across the solar system, trying to stretch Earth's defenses thin. The Planet Breaker stayed in the center, its main weapon slowly charging. "This is Imperial High Commander Richard." A new voice boomed across all channels. "Your defiance ends today. The Planet Breaker has destroyed 37 worlds. Your shields cannot stop it." Walker pressed the communication button. "This is Earth Defense. We were hoping you'd bring your biggest ship." He turned to his crew. "Activate the quantum disruption field." Full power. Across Earth's defense grid, thousands of satellites began pulsing with blue energy. The quantum field spread out like a spiderweb, much larger than during the first battle. This time, it reached all the way to Mars. The Imperial fleet fired first. Thousands of energy beams struck Earth's outer shields, but instead of being absorbed like last time, the shield seemed to redirect the energy, feeding it back into Earth's defense grid. "Impossible," Commander Richard shouted. "No shield can redirect energy like that." Walker smiled. "We've had centuries to perfect our technology. Every attack makes us stronger. Now let's show them what Earth can really do." He pressed a series of buttons on his console. The quantum field pulsed once, twice, and then every Imperial ship's weapon system shut down at the same time. "What's happening?" Richard demanded. "The Planet Breaker's main cannon is not responding." "Your weapons work by directing massive amounts of energy," Walker explained calmly. "Our quantum field simply redirects that energy. You can't hit what you can't target." The Planet Breaker tried to fire its main weapon anyway. The massive energy beam shot out but curved away from Earth, caught in the quantum field's influence. The beam circled back, trapped in an endless loop of redirected energy. "Now," Walker commanded, "disable their engines." Earth's defense platforms fired concentrated pulses of quantum energy. Instead of attacking the ships directly, these pulses disrupted their engine cores. One by one, the Imperial ships began to drift. Even the mighty Planet Breaker wasn't immune. Its massive engines sputtered and died, leaving it floating helplessly in space. "This is impossible." Richard's voice shook with rage. "We are the Empire. We cannot be defeated by a single world." Walker's response was calm but firm. "You're not being defeated, Commander. You're being taught a lesson. The Empire builds weapons to destroy. Earth built defenses that make weapons useless." The remaining Imperial ships tried to retreat, but the quantum field had already trapped them. Within an hour, the entire fleet hung powerless in space, their crews watching in shock as Earth's rescue ships approached. Director Stone's voice came over the general channel. "Imperial fleet, your ships are now under our control. Your crews will be treated well and returned to Imperial space. Your ships, however, will remain here, as a reminder of why Earth is forbidden to your empire." Walker looked at the main screen where the Planet Breaker drifted silently. "Send recovery teams to secure their ships, and send a message to Imperial Command." The message was brief. The Sol system remains closed to Imperial traffic. Your most powerful weapons have failed. Your largest fleet is captured. Consider carefully if you wish to try a third time. Earth's defenses will only get stronger with each attempt. P.S. Thank you for the planet breaker. We'll put it to good use. As Earth's recovery ships moved in to collect their prizes, Walker turned to his crew. Good work, everyone. But stay alert. Something tells me the Empire isn't used to losing. In the captured Planet Breaker's data center, Earth's researchers made an interesting discovery. Dr. Paul Green, head of alien studies, rushed to the Defense Council chamber with the findings. You need to see this, he said, placing a data crystal on the central table. We've accessed their historical archives. Now we know why Earth is different from every world they've conquered. Admiral Walker and Director Stone watched as the holographic display came to life, showing thousands of alien worlds and their histories. Look at this pattern, Dr. Green pointed to the data. Every species the Empire conquered followed almost the same path. They evolved, developed technology, and reached for the stars. But there's one crucial difference. He pulled up Earth's history alongside the others. The contrast was striking. These species, he continued, all developed space travel first, then created weapons later. They explored before they learned to fight. But humans, he paused, highlighting Earth's timeline. We did everything backward. Director Stone leaned forward. Explain. While other species were building spaceships, we were building bunkers. While they were making faster-than-light drives, we were perfecting shield technology. While they were peaceful exploring space, he hesitated. We were fighting ourselves. Walker nodded slowly. Our paranoia made us stronger. Exactly. Dr. Green displayed more data. Look at the Empire's standard conquest pattern. They arrive, show their superior space technology, and overwhelm primitive defense systems. But Earth, we had already built defenses that could stop anything, Walker finished, because we assumed any alien we met would try to kill us. The room fell silent as they scrolled through more Imperial records. They found reports of peaceful worlds that took decades to develop basic shields, planets that never knew war until the Empire arrived, species that had no concept of defensive technology. There's more, Dr. Green added. The Empire's weapons. They're all designed to overcome standard shields and basic defenses. They never expected to find a world that had spent thousands of years perfecting defensive technology. Director Stone stood up and walked to the window, looking out at Earth's shield grid glowing in the distance. So our greatest weakness became our greatest strength. Our history of warfare, Walker mused, our constant fear of attack, our focus on protection instead of expansion, it all led to this moment. Dr. Green nodded enthusiastically. The Empire's reports show confusion. They don't understand why their weapons can't penetrate our shields. They don't know why their ships lose power in our defense grid. They've never seen anything like it. Because no one else was paranoid enough to build it, Walker smiled. A young officer rushed into the room. Admiral, we're detecting more Imperial ships at the edge of the system. But Walker didn't look worried. Instead, he turned to Director Stone. Should we show them what we learned from their captured ships? Stone nodded. Power up the new integrated defense system. Let's show the Empire what happens when you give humanity more technology to work with. The officer's eyes widened. Sir, the captured planet breaker. Its systems are coming online. Through the window, they could see the massive Imperial ship, now under Earth's control, its hull glowing with the same blue energy as Earth's defense grid. Humanity had already adapted its technology, improving it, integrating it into their defensive network. Send a message to the approaching Imperial ships, Stone commanded. Tell them thanks to their generous donations, Earth's defenses are now even stronger. Dr. Green looked at the data again. You know what's ironic? The Empire thought they were the most advanced civilization in the galaxy, but they only focused on building bigger weapons. While we, Walker added, built something they never could, a perfect defense. As the new Imperial ships approached, Earth's enhanced defense grid hummed to life. The captured planet Breaker, now reprogrammed with Earth's defensive technology, took its place among humanity's shields. The Empire made one crucial mistake, Stone said quietly. They assumed every civilization would develop like them. Peaceful, unprotected, easy to conquer. Instead, they found us. And we, Walker smiled, were ready for them. Using the communication technology from the captured planet Breaker, Earth prepared to make its most daring move yet. Admiral Walker stood in the broadcast center, surrounded by screens showing thousands of Imperial-controlled worlds. "Are we ready?" he asked, looking at the technical team. "Yes, sir," the lead technician replied. "We can broadcast to every world in the Empire simultaneously. Their communication networks can't block us." Director Stone entered the room with the rest of the Defense Council. This is a historic moment. For the first time, someone will challenge the Empire openly. Walker nodded to the technicians. "Begin the broadcast." Across the galaxy, on thousands of conquered worlds, screens flickered to life. Imperial citizens, soldiers, and slaves all saw the same image. Earth's massive defense grid, with the captured planet Breaker now glowing with blue defensive energy. "To all worlds under Imperial control," Walker began, his voice calm and clear. "This is Earth. 3 times the Empire tried to conquer us. 3 times they failed. Now, watch what happens when humanity takes their weapons and improves them." The broadcast showed the planet Breaker firing its main weapon. But instead of a destructive beam, it released waves of protective energy, expanding Earth's defense grid even further. "We turned their greatest weapon into a shield," Walker continued, "because that's what humanity does. We defend, we protect, and now we offer that protection to you." The screen split, showing footage from the recent battles. Imperial ships powerless against Earth's defenses, the quantum grid redirecting their attacks, Earth's rescue ships helping defeated crews. The Empire rules through fear of their weapons. Director Stone stepped forward to speak. "But we have made their weapons useless. Any world that wishes to be free of Imperial control will have Earth's protection." They showed the defensive satellites launching, creating a network that could span entire systems. Technology that could shield planets from the Empire's strongest attacks. "We are establishing the Sol System Exclusion Zone," Walker announced. "No Imperial ships will be permitted in this space, but for any world seeking freedom, our technology and protection are available." The broadcast shifted to show Earth's rescue ships, already modified with the new defensive systems, ready to help other worlds. "You don't have to fight," Stone added. "You don't have to die. Just ask for help, and we will come. We will give you the means to say no to the Empire." Suddenly, emergency signals started flooding in from across the galaxy. Dozens, then hundreds of worlds were requesting Earth's protection. The Empire's iron grip was breaking. The Empire thought their greatest achievement was conquering worlds. Walker continued, "Humanity's greatest achievement is defending them. We turned their planet Breaker into a planet protector. We transformed their warships into shields." On the screens, they showed the modified Imperial ships, now part of Earth's defense fleet, their weapons replaced with protective technology. To the Empire, Stone's voice was firm. "This is your final warning. Stay away from Earth. Stay away from any world under our protection. Your weapons cannot harm us. Your ships only make us stronger." The broadcast ended with a demonstration. The Planet Protector, once the Empire's most feared weapon, created a defensive shield around a nearby moon. The shield shimmered with the same blue energy that protected Earth. As the transmission ended, reports began pouring in. 3 systems had already declared independence. Dozens more were preparing to break away from the Empire. "It's starting," Walker said quietly. "The Empire's about to learn that conquest isn't the only way to build a civilization." Director Stone looked at the incoming messages. "They never understood. Sometimes the strongest civilizations aren't the ones that conquer others. They're the ones that protect them, Walker finished. In the space around Earth, the defense grid pulsed with energy. The planet protector took its position, ready to defend not just one world, but any that asked for help. The Empire had spent centuries teaching the galaxy to fear their weapons. Earth was about to teach them something new: the power of an impenetrable defense, freely shared with those who needed it. 1 month after Earth's broadcast, the galaxy looked very different. Admiral Walker stood on the observation deck of the renamed Planet Protector, watching as another fleet of rescue ships departed Earth. "How many worlds have joined the Defense Alliance now?" he asked his aide. 237 systems, sir," the aide replied. "Another 48 have requested our help this week alone." The Empire's once mighty grip on the galaxy was slipping, not through war or violence, but through Earth's simple gift: the power to say no. Director Stone entered the deck, holding a datapad. The Empire's Council has finally sent their official response. Walker turned from the window. "Let me guess. They're not happy. They've declared Earth an enemy of galactic peace." Stone smiled slightly. "But more importantly, they've agreed to recognize the Sol exclusion zone. They know they can't break our defenses." Below them, Earth's orbital shipyards were busy. Former Imperial warships were being converted into defensive platforms. The quantum shield technology had been shared with allied worlds, creating a network of protected systems. "Report from the Centauri system," an officer called out. "Their defensive grid is online." The Imperial fleet withdrew without firing a shot. This was becoming common news. The Empire's ships would approach a protected world, detect Earth's defense technology, and retreat. They had learned their lesson. "The Empire made 3 crucial mistakes," Walker said, looking at the stars. "First, they assumed every civilization would be easy to conquer. Second, they thought bigger weapons were the answer to everything. And the third?" Stone asked. "They gave us their technology to study," Walker smiled. "Never give humans new technology. We'll always find a way to improve it." The observation deck screens showed feeds from various protected worlds. Former Imperial colonies were flourishing under their new freedom. Earth's defensive technology had given them something they'd never had before: choice. A new message flashed on the main screen. The Galactic Council, representing non-Imperial worlds, had called for a meeting. They wanted Earth to take a leadership role. "They want us to head the defensive alliance of free worlds," Stone read from the message, "to teach other civilizations how to protect themselves." Walker laughed softly. "Imagine that. Humanity's paranoia and fear of aliens actually made us the galaxy's protectors." Below them, the Planet Protector systems hummed as it maintained the quantum shield network. The massive ship, once built to destroy worlds, now helped protect hundreds of them. "New Imperial ship detected at the edge of the exclusion zone," an officer reported, but there was no alarm in his voice. This had become routine. They watched as the Imperial vessel approached the warning boundary. An automated message was sent. "Attention, Imperial vessel. You are approaching the Cethal Extila Ion zone. Access is forbidden. Your kind is not ULCOMME here." The ship stopped, waited for a moment, then turned around. Like all the others before it, it had learned that challenging Earth's defenses was pointless. "Send our weekly report to the allied worlds," Stone commanded. "Let them know the defense network is functioning at full capacity." As the sun set on Earth below them, Walker reflected on how much had changed. Humanity's greatest fears, alien invasion, galactic war, the end of human independence, had never materialized. Instead, their preparation for these fears had made them the galaxy's guardians. "Final status report for today," the aide announced. "The defensive network now protects over 1 billion sentient beings on 300 worlds. Imperial influence has dropped to its lowest point in recorded history." "And Earth?" Walker asked. "Safe," Stone replied. As it has been since we first looked to the stars and decided to be ready for anything. The planet protectors' blue shields shimmed in the sunlight, a symbol of how humanity had transformed the Empire's weapons of destruction into tools of protection. Throughout the galaxy, countless worlds slept peacefully under similar shields. The Empire had wanted to teach the galaxy about power. Instead, Earth had taught it about protection. And in the end, that made all the difference.